My sponsor Rock Bottom is currently running a special deal. Head on over to rockbottomcoins.com and use code Zirksee at checkout for a 30% off your order.
The whole thing wobbin'.
What's going on, guys? It's Zirksee coming at you today with another YouTube video, and today I'm going to go into my base elite running back predictions for Madden 20. Now, I already did base elite QBs, and I also did base elite wide receivers, so let me know down below what other positions you guys would like to see. Now, of course, I will also be having an honorable mentions at the end of this video. I know someone's going to get mad because they didn't put their favorite running back in the top 10. Is what it is. I obviously cannot fit every single running back in the top 10 players in Madden 20. These are my predictions though. Let me know down below your guys' opinions on my predictions. And of course, if you guys want to get a custom card made just like these ones that you guys are going to see in this video, it is by Playoff Lamel. I'll leave a link to his Twitter in the description if you guys want to get some cards made. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get into it. And starting off at number 10 is going to be Chris Carson. Now, coming into Madden 19, Chris Carson didn't even have an elite card. This man literally had a 77 overall card. And he was number 5 in the league with 1,151 yards, and he also had 9 touchdowns. Chris Carson definitely had a really dang good season, and in my opinion, one of the more underrated in the NFL because you don't really hear a lot of people talking about Chris Carson. I guess maybe because he's on Seattle and that team is mostly known for defense and Russell Wilson, but Chris Carson is definitely one of the better running backs in the NFL, and I think that if he goes into this year and has another good season, he could potentially start off as like an 87 in Madden 21. But for Madden 20, I am going to put him off as the 10th highest running back and 85 overall. I feel like that's pretty solid for a first-year starter. Now, coming in at number 9 is going to be James Conner. James Conner actually started off this year with a 72, I believe it was, overall card, 72 or 73, one of the two. So going from a 72 or 73 up to an 85 overall would definitely be pretty amazing. I think James Conner definitely deserves it. He stepped right in for Le'Veon Bell and put up pretty solid numbers, 973 yards and 12 touchdowns. And he didn't even play the entire season. That is pretty crazy to have 12 touchdowns, which literally is one of the highest touchdown totals, and he still missed games. That's incredible for James Conner, and this man led my team to so many W's in fantasy. It was pretty crazy, but James Conner, I think next year will definitely have over 1,000 yards. If he stays healthy all season, I think James Conner is potentially one of those guys you put up, maybe 1,200 yards, because that Steelers offensive line is still pretty dang good. Now, without AB, we'll see how they do with Juju Smith-Schuster at wide receiver number 1. But James Conner definitely deserves to be in the top 10, and I'm going to put him at number 9 with an 85 overall. Next up at number 8 is going to be Melvin Gordon, and honestly, I think this year is the year where Melvin Gordon takes to the next level. I think he's about to have an insane season. Melvin Gordon this year, 885 yards and 10 touchdowns. Not the best when it comes to rushing yards, but he did have 10 touchdowns still, and I still feel like Melvin Gordon is one of the best running backs in the NFL. A lot of people say that he is like one of the top 3, 4, 5 running backs. Like, you always see analysts saying how Melvin Gordon is just extremely underrated. I definitely agree with them, and I think that Gordon is going to be an extremely fun card to use as well in Madden 20. Madden 19, his spin move is ridiculous for some reason. Like, I don't know what it is. Him and Barry Sanders have two of the most ridiculous spin move animations. I don't know why I can't seem to tackle this man, but I do believe that Melvin Gordon will be an 86 overall in Madden 20. Definitely a very good card, and I think it'll be a pretty fun card to use. And at number 7 is going to be 86 overall, Christian McCaffrey. Now, McCaffrey actually came into Madden 19 with only an 82 overall card, so I don't think that it's too much to ask to have him increase to an 86 overall as the 7th highest overall running back in the game. Christian McCaffrey is going to be so good in Madden 20, I promise you guys. If you played the beta, you know just how deadly running back routes out of the backfield and in general your running back is, because there's a big mismatch versus linebackers or D linemen. You basically have to use a cornerback or a safety on a running back to be able to stop them. It is incredibly hard to stop them, and with Christian McCaffrey, with his amazing route running, his amazing catching stats, he's going to be crazy. He's just going to be absolutely ridiculous. Now, he actually had 1,098 receiving yards, or rushing yards, And he also had 7 touchdowns. And of course, you guys know Christian McCaffrey definitely put up some big numbers when it came to the receiving game. And I cannot wait to use this guy. I really hope that in MUT, he has an ability to where he can get like the 4 additional hot routes out of the backfield. Because if you have that Texas route, it's going to be so easy. Christian McCaffrey coming in number 7. I definitely think he deserves it. And at number 6 is going to be Alvin Kamara. I also think that Alvin Kamara definitely deserves to be on this list. Take a look at this though, right? He had 883 rushing yards. Doesn't sound like a lot. He still had 14 touchdowns. That is crazy. Now, obviously, Kamara is a big factor for the Saints when it comes to the receiving game. And now that Ingram is not going to be in New Orleans, I think that Alvin Kamara is definitely going to explode. I mean, hopefully he can handle the workload that he's about to get. I feel like Kamara could possibly rush for as the lead back. Maybe we're looking at close to 1,100 yards rushing. On top of that, maybe he's going to go for 1-1. 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing. I don't think it's too much to ask for Alvin Kamara. Obviously, there is Michael Thomas take away targets for him. But Alvin Kamara is by far one of the best running backs in the NFL. As an 87 overall, I feel like that's pretty respectable for Kamara. He's never really taken the majority of the workload. I mean, he has taken the majority of the workload, but he hasn't taken all the workload with Melvin Ingram still there. Or Mark Ingram, apologies. But 883 yards and 14 touchdowns, definitely deserving of this card. And coming in as the number 5 highest overall running back in Madden 20 should be Joe Mixon with an 87 overall card. Now, I actually saw a breakdown. I don't remember who it was from. Someone from the NFL. They said that Joe Mixon is probably going to lead the league in rushing this year. After watching that breakdown, I can see why he potentially could. He is an absolute monster. He had 237 attempts, 1,168 yards, and he also had 8 touchdowns. Joe Mixon pretty dang good. He can also catch, and honestly, Mixon is one of the more underrated running backs in the NFL as well, because you never really hear anyone talking about the guys like Chris Carson or Joe Mixon. And Mixon put up big numbers, and that's without a ton of help around him. Obviously, Andy Dalton is not the best quarterback in the NFL by far. AJ Green was injured a bit this year. And, of course, Tyler Boyd definitely had a breakout season, but Joe Mixon was a key part of that offense as well. And I look forward to seeing Joe Mixon and what he can do in the NFL. But Joe Mixon definitely deserves to be one of the highest overall running backs, coming in as an 87. Now, of course, I had to put Le'Veon Bell on this list. In Madden 19, he was an 88 overall to start. Now, obviously, Le'Veon Bell did not even play this year, so that's why I'm taking him down from 88, and I'm making him an 87 overall to start off Madden 20. I feel like he's definitely going to be one of the better running backs in the NFL. Still, it's Le'Veon Bell. I'm very curious to see, though, how will taking the year off of football actually affect this man, and just how will it change him? I'm honestly very curious to see exactly how Le'Veon Bell's going to do, but I think he still is deserving of an 87 overall card. A lot of people still have him labeled as the best running back in the NFL. Personally, I do not think so, but Le'Veon Bell with the Jets, let's see how he does. 87 overall. And of course, the offensive rookie of the year, Saquon Barkley, coming in at number 3 with 1,307 rushing yards and, of course, 11 touchdowns. He actually had 16 plays of 20 plus yards. I believe that was the highest in the NFL, so definitely one of the better playmakers in the game. He averaged 5 yards a carry. A lot of Giants fans are definitely going to enjoy this card if he is in fact an 88 overall. If he's one of the highest overall running backs in the game, yeah, this card's gonna be crazy. Saquon Barkley is definitely a monster when it comes to Madden and impossible to tackle, it seems like. I had his rookie premiere this year, and I was so excited he actually won Offensive Rookie of the Year, and I feel like Saquon Barkley is due to pick up a bunch of cards, and obviously, in New York now, they don't really have an amazing receiver anymore. OBJ is not there, and now they have Daniel Jones, who looks like he's probably going to end up taking over for Eli at some point during the season, maybe. But Saquon Barkley is obviously going to catch a bunch of dump down passes, and let's see if he's able to top his rushing total of 1,300 yards, not to mention 0 fumbles. That's pretty crazy. Saquon Barkley at number 3. Now, the NFL rushing leader, of course, is going to come in at number 2, Ezekiel Elliott. My favorite running back in the NFL, obviously, as a Cowboys fan. He's going to come in at number 2. I'm not biased. I didn't put him at number 1. Relax. 1,434 yards with 6 touchdowns, of course. And he also had 11 plays of 20-plus yards. And I think that Zeke is in for a big time season this year, especially with the fact that now people know Amari Cooper is the real deal. So as long as people are paying a little bit more attention to Amari Cooper and not so much to Zeke, or if they want to do that, Amari Cooper did say he wants to, catch for 2,000 yards a season. I don't see it happening at all, especially with Dak Prescott. But Ezekiel Elliott could repeat easily as the NFL's top leading rusher, and I sure hope that he does. And obviously Zeke is an absolute monster when it comes to Madden. I love this card, and it seems like his juke move for the Madden 20 beta is really, really OP. Can't wait to use this card. And at number 1 is going to be Todd Gurley. Now, I really, really wish that he didn't have arthritis in his knee. He came into Madden 19 with an 86 overall card, and I think he is going to be the top running back in Madden 20 with an 89 overall card. That's just based off his 2018 season, obviously. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much longer Todd Gurley is actually going to play, or if he'll ever have the stats that he had this year. Now, with his knee, I really don't think that he will. I don't think he'll ever have 1,250 rushing yards and 17 touchdowns again. He was definitely up there when it came to the MVP competition. Unfortunately, he did not win it because Patrick Mahomes had a ridiculous season. But had Mahomes not won MVP, had Mahomes not had such a crazy season, it probably went to Todd Gurley, because Gurley was just having a phenomenal year, or even Drew Brees, of course. But Todd Gurley, number 1 overall running back in Madden 20. Would love to see it. Unfortunately, I'm not sure how much longer Todd Gurley will actually be in the NFL, but that was the top 10 list. Let's get into my honorable mentions. Now, with my honorable mentions, the running backs was actually one of the hardest ones, because I feel like there were a lot of really, really good players that could have potentially made this list, but they didn't. So obviously David Johnson, he just did not have that good of a year. 940 yards and 7 touchdowns for David Johnson. Derrick Henry I actually did at first have on this list. I decided to take him off. He had 1,059 yards and 12 touchdowns. I could easily see him making this list somewhere, kicking someone else off, but I'm just not sure he's going to do that one. AP as well had 1,042 yards and 7 touchdowns, and Philip Lindsay, 1,037 yards and 9 touchdowns. Also Nick Chubb with 996 rushing yards and 8 touchdowns. I mean, there's like a solid 15, 16 running backs that you could say deserve to be top 10, because they're all really, really good. And it was just kind of hard to put this list together, honestly. But I hope you guys did enjoy the video. And if you did, smack the like button, subscribe, and comment. Let me know down below your guys' opinion on the list. I know someone's going to be super mad that I did not put their favorite running back. It's okay. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.